When you're alone with your thoughts, you get an idea of what your thoughts actually are. If you live your life just acting constantly on the momentum of other people's expectations, of you wanting to be liked by these other people, you can run into a trap, and you set up a life that you didn't really want. You're fucked. You're trapped in this situation where you have a mortgage, you've got credit card bills, you got student loans you have to pay, you have a bunch of shit going on that you have to continue to feed. And all that, and especially if you have a family and you have to feed them, oh my goodness. Then you're fully locked in. You can't take any chances whatsoever. And oftentimes people make the mistake of getting stuck. And it is just a tactical mistake, just like it would be a mistake if you got stuck on a video game. Just like it would be a mistake if you followed a map incorrectly and you get stuck in the woods. Your life is certainly some sort of a journey. It's certainly some sort of a journey. And we have to all be aware that when we're making journeys, we're not going to always make the right steps. And sometimes you have to back up and try again. And if you're in a position where you can't back up and try again, you've trapped yourself. And the system will set out honeypots for people to get trapped in. The system will set out the ideas of retirement, the ideas of the golden years, providing you benefits, providing you a healthy work environment. Why? Well, because they want people to work for them. They don't want people to realize their own dreams and escape. And that's a fucking pain in the ass. So you got to hire more people and train them, and they want to set it up so that you stick around. Stick around in some sort of an unsatisfying world. It's up to you to see that video game problem, to see that issue as it comes up on the map. No, I think this is a right turn. To see all the problems that could potentially lay in front of you and calculate your future. And then also look around all the people that didn't do it and look at the misery that they're in and learn that you don't want to be like them. And then look at the people that have kind of taken chances and navigated their way. What did they do differently? What objectivity do they have that maybe you lack? What insight into their own mistakes are they willing to delve into that you're not, that you step back and you go, I just don't want to look at myself that closely. But the person who's able to look at themselves the closest is going to get the more rational results.
Hiya, Joe, old boy.
The moment you accept a paycheck, your brain goes dead. He says, as long as you're hungry, you'll think.
Because you need a job, because you're in debt, because you have credit cards, because you have student loans, because that's what everybody does. And so you do it too. That's what's wrong. Let them figure it out on their own.
Many people are working in jobs that don't do anything for the world or the company they're working for. One of the qualifications is that it's really kind of a worthless job. It's not really doing anything. If you really want to torture a person, not only give them like the job of pouring a glass of water in an empty glass and pouring it back, but then add to it that they have to deceive their boss into thinking that they're doing an important job or they lose their jobs.
Everyone has a different personality. They have different interests, different things that they would be really satisfied pursuing. That's not encouraged. What's encouraged is go find some place that you can shove yourself into. Go find a square hole that you can stick your round peg and just jam it in there and shave down the top and the bottom so you slide in with all this extra space on the sides and feel like shit for the rest of your life.
How many people here work somewhere but really want to have their own business or hustle? Raise your hands. A lot. Let me tell you why most of the hands that just went up will never get there. They buy dumb shit. Do you know how many people here literally drive cars to impress people that they fucking hate? People literally going in debt or getting further from leaving the job they don't like to do something that will make them happy because they have to buy a certain car that has a logo that impresses people that they fucking despise. Do you understand how fucked up that is? Do you know how many people here live in homes where they don't use more than half the rooms in the house? Why you are living your life based on other people's opinions.
I can easily fall into self-seeking and depression and self-pity and judgment. It's a bit of a default, awful, destructive behavior. You're entertaining in your head.
I think that a lot of people that are really great at things, they're not very satisfied with their work. And then that can start that cycle in their head of self-loathing and anxiety and anger at their performance or their work. And then that can lead to depression. That can lead to just self-hate. I think we could all fall into those. I'm ruthlessly self-critical. And for me, sometimes it's very hard to step outside and just take a pause and recognize that not everything's going to be right the first time you try it.
6 years at a job I felt stuck in. Maybe I was afraid of change. I hated that job, and I clung to that job. My dream of running a theater company with my friend had died. So I had no heat, no girlfriend, no acting agent. At 29, walking away from data processing, I was terrified. What I didn't have was cash, a bank account, a credit card, or an apartment. I just had debt. Big, hungry, growing larger every moment debt. But this made me very hungry, literally. I couldn't be lazy.
Can't do that, I don't have time. Because it's an escape. It's an escape, you know what I mean? It's easy to say I can't afford it. Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I can't go to the gym. You know, when you could go to the gym, but no, I can't. Truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the gym.
I told myself, the next acting job I get, no matter what it pays, I will, from now on, for better or worse, be a working actor. Soon something starts to happen. Trust me. A rhythm sets in. And I've worked as an actor ever since. The world might say you are not allowed to yet. Please, don't even bother asking. Don't bother telling the world you are ready. Show it. Do it.
The thing is that we become creatures of our own habits. And until we break the habit, we don't change.
I think there's a lot of people out there like that, and for some awful reason, they never find whatever it is that can break them free. They never catch a ride on that river out. And I realized that like these unconventional paths, they brought me something that I wasn't getting from regular life. From then on, I'd kind of like locked into this thing where I'm just gonna do what I like and fuck what everybody says, because everybody's giving me advice to do this and advice to do that, and it never seems to be what I want to do.
And I was like, so if nobody knows, then I have to trust me. I have to know for me. Nobody's happy who doesn't get to be themselves.
What do you really appreciate? What's important to you? And what's really important to you? Because you don't have forever, right? So what is important to you? Because you only have 24 hours in a day. So what's important to you? Chase what you're trying to do. You have to take a path that's dangerous. You have to plan it out, to put aside enough money to give yourself a window. And then you have to have a plan, and you have to spend all your waking hours outside of whatever shit job you do planning your escape. And you have to come to the realization very clearly that your life depends on it.
I hate Plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many of those people that say no and you can't do it, that's impossible. But when you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan, I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. I'm telling you, I've never ever had a plan B. I say I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I would do the work over and over and over until I get it.
I believe that self-discipline is the definition of self-love. That when you say that you love yourself, that means that you say to yourself, hey man, look, I know you want to eat that pizza and it'll be really good, you know, but I can't let you eat that, because if you eat that pizza, you're gonna feel like shit, you know, and I love you too much to let you eat that. You forego immediate pleasure for the exchange of long-term self-respect. The road to sustained happiness is through disciplining your behavior.
I failed in bodybuilding. I lost bodybuilding competitions. I lost powerlifting competitions. I lost weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went in the toilet and that were terrible and got the worst reviews. We all fail.
Next is Jordan, reverse again.
It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up. Fail and get up. Fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner.
Because everybody has dreams, but nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life. And it's like, as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not gonna be like that. But if you don't believe, nobody else is gonna believe. People come along because your belief is so insane. Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. And you gotta be willing to risk everything to become that seed of what you believe. You gotta be fearless, you gotta be relentless. You gotta take your shot.
I wake up at 28 years old, I was $50,000 in debt. You know, couldn't sleep at night because it felt like I had bricks on my chest. I was 213 pounds, which for me and my frame was way overweight. I was prescribed Lipitor. I had to take blood thinners, and it was like a total disaster. What am I gonna do with my life? Like, I cannot take another day in this level of pain. I was at my breaking point, and my mom must have intuitively known it because I used to kind of hide a lot of this. I used to make it look like everything was okay on the outside, and she gives me a book. And in that book, she just writes in the front cover, I believe in you. And it was in that moment, I'll never forget looking at the book. It gave me hope when I didn't have it. It gave me the possibility of a future that was bright when it seemed so dark and dim and nasty and just terrible all around me. And in that moment, one person who believed in me, because I was no longer believing in me, changed everything. And I took that in, and I remember crying, and I remember reading it, and I just kept reading it over and over. I believe in you. And I kept picturing my mom. She would always say, you can do anything you put your mind to, over and over and over. I said, you know what? This is my choice point. I get to either allow this situation to break me. I just give up on my dreams forever, and I do what everyone else is telling me to do. Everyone else is telling me to go get a job. Everyone else is telling me you're not good enough. People are laughing at me. And instead I said, you know what? I'm gonna borrow my mom's belief. Even though I'm 28 years old, between 28 and 30, I'm gonna set a date. And I had always wanted to sell a business by the time I was 30, but I'm gonna set a date and I'm gonna actually declare it. I'm gonna tell people that I'm gonna build and sell a company before I turn 30 years old. I got a tattoo on my chest with a goal on it, a cross, and inside the middle of that cross, it says Believe 2012 backwards. So if you look at me, you're like, what's that on your chest? What does that say? But in the mirror, every single day, I could look at myself, and every single day, I would look at it and just say, before I turn 30, I will have sold a business and I will have achieved my dreams, and this is what my life will be like. And got into action. Started a business, people thought I was crazy, and I just kept pressing forward, and within 2 years, right before I turned 30, I sold the whole company before I turned 30, exactly like the tattoo stated. What I never would have expected in a million years was that it felt so empty. And it felt so empty because I didn't have anybody to enjoy it with. I was by myself. It was just me. I started crying and I started thinking that I can't believe that I don't feel fulfilled by this. I need to figure out why I feel this way. And I said, well, I want love. After all this time, my greatest desire is love. I want to find the person that just lights me up and where we're able to make each other happy, where we're able to just start a family together. Like, I want to feel that unconditional love. So I just started writing. I just started writing and writing all of the things that I wanted. Dark hair and green eyes and the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen in my life. And I made that declaration and I made that commitment. I'm going to be engaged in the next 12 months, and read the letter every single day. When I'd come home from a blind date that was a total disaster, I would read that letter. When I'd come home after getting catfished, I would read that letter. I just had this full faith that it was gonna happen. Fast forward, in February, just a few months later, it was a completely random situation where I picked up my phone and the Tinder app was open. And from a picture, from just one photo, I literally knew that this woman would be my wife. Everything I had written about in my letter, the dark hair, the green eyes, like all of these things, like being so beautiful. And we went out on our first date. When we met, it was like everything that I had like seen in the movies. It was like we just stopped. You know that look where you look at each other and it's almost like your head kind of tilts a little bit? Our connection was instant. Our conversation was so deep and so connected so fast. I mean, it was like we've known each other our whole lives. All the things I'd written about in the letter about getting engaged, all of these things were in motion, happening faster than I ever thought possible. You know, from that, we just kept progressing until I ended up proposing. And I just thought to myself, I made it. I made it. This is what my mother saw in me. This is what I have been dreaming about since I was a little boy. I made it. What an experience that anything is possible in life. That you can change your way of being, that you can grow your confidence, that anything's possible. I declared that I was going to build and sell a company. I declared that I was going to find the love of my life. When you've got something that you want and you're willing to sacrifice and never, ever let off the gas pedal no matter what the circumstance is, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you grew up, it doesn't matter what your current situation is, it doesn't matter if you're in debt, it doesn't matter what's going on around you, that any human being can set their eyes on a vision for their life. Every time that you speak your vision with your words out loud to other human beings, you're inflating it with hope, you're inflating it with belief, and you're inflating it with possibility that you will make it happen. And when the world or when someone tries to take that dream away, when someone else comes at you and says it's never gonna happen, you can take that and leverage it and you can say, I can, I will, watch me.
And the next morning I walked into the doctor's office, they said, son, what option did you choose? I said, no disrespect to you, doc, I'm not choosing an option, my situation is out of your hands. I said, no disrespect to you, doc, cut me where you gotta cut me. I said, I know I will come out of this situation okay.